Hey guys, today's training we're going to look at how to go from being perhaps second division or a rookie in the fitness industry and progressing until you're professional. So the first step you actually need to do here is assess where you're currently at and then where you need to allocate time and energy in order to progress through. So to use an example, in 2002 I was actually lucky enough to be playing rugby league in the south of France, and we sat down at the start of the season, myself and a few of the players and the coach, and we spoke about what was required to be successful. Now for that team, they'd actually won the comp the previous year in the second division, and they'd been promoted into the first division, but they'd realised that what gave them success there wouldn't necessarily be enough to give them success in the top league. And I use this analogy because I think we can do the exact same thing in your fitness business. If you're currently plateaued or you're not actually making the profit or the sort of growth that you were looking for, I think if we divide it into these four quadrants, we'll be able to figure out where you should be allocating your time. So the question, what would it take to go pro? So in the first quadrant, the things we're looking at are goals and equipment. So most gym owners that I meet, even if they're brand new, are quite good at setting these two up. So my only suggestion, if you're doing goals, maybe it's membership-based goals or it's the amount of direct debit you want to hit this month or this quarter, let's just make sure they're outcome-based so we can actually work out whether we've achieved them or not. Equipment. So this might be the treadmills, the TRX, the group training facilities. I think these are self-explanatory, but it's important that once we actually get some quality equipment there, we don't waste any more time in this first quadrant. And it is a bit of a time trap. If you see people, 3 years down the track that are still just kind of breaking even or making $100,000 or less a year, which is probably less than what you could earn as a personal trainer, it's because they've failed to move out of that initial section. So if we come into the second quadrant, practice. So if you think of it like a sporting team, one of the big changes in the team that wanted to go from second grade to first grade, they'd just go from practicing like twice a week up to maybe practicing daily or even twice daily. So in your business, it's good to practice what your customer service is like. It's good to actually practice your sales process and go through each step of the sales funnel and actually get better at it and practice getting better at it. So you're actually producing a level of service that is up there with the best gyms in the country. The other one is support. So many of us, I guess, when we first get started, are doing everything ourselves, but if you want to actually progress through to being professional, support might come in the form of having a bookkeeper or an accountant. It could be having a solicitor for legal work. It might be having like a virtual assistant or someone that works behind the scenes and helps with your admin. But it means that you can focus on what you're particularly good at and you're not sort of wasting hours, cleaning or something like that. So 4 stages, we're moving now into the third stage. So these ones, this is where I guess there's only about 10 to 20% of the fitness industry. Most people remain in that first 2 quadrants. If you're moving through to 3 and 4, this is where you're going to see all the rewards. The rewards in terms of profit, but also the rewards in terms of enjoyment and leverage in what you're actually doing. So those gyms that move through to this stage, the plan. So regardless of how hard you try or how many hours per week you work in your gym, if you don't actually have the right plan or you don't actually understand which theory to implement, it sometimes becomes almost impossible to progress through to that next stage. So if you haven't managed 10 personal trainers before, or if you've never made $1 million in personal training turnover per year, it's sometimes hard to even envisage how that might be structured. So having the correct plan is essential at this stage. The next one is a coach. So in sporting terms, we know the importance of having a coach because they can actually keep us accountable to implementing our game plan, to bounce ideas off, but they also bring out the best in us. And in business, that's a business mentor, someone that you can rely on that has the runs on the board. So the fourth and the last quadrant is this one here, where in sport, we might talk about fitness as being like the foundation for every good sporting team, and they do that perhaps at the start of the season to ensure that everything else they do on top of it enables the team to gel and sort of synergize a bit. So in a fitness business, your fitness is actually your sales and marketing plan. A team can be fantastic and a club can have the best players possible, but if you don't have the fitness, or if you don't have sales and marketing that's effective in a fitness business, you unfortunately will never go up to that next stage. The last one there is the team. Of course, we need a team of superstars. Sometimes we recruit or we headhunt those people from another business. Sometimes we develop them. They come in with little experience and we train them up until they're rock stars. We're then working on making sure our team actually work as a team. So my challenge for you today, obviously with other email video training and things on our website, you'll notice that for each of these sections, we've actually got specific training. But my question for you today is, whereabouts are you actually stuck, and which area of that quadrant do you think you actually need to be allocating time to this quarter in order to move from rookie to professional in the fitness industry?